guilty on all three counts. How does this affect Hunter Biden? We'll have to wait and see. Sentencing could be as much as 120 days away for Hunter if it ever happens at all. Things were vastly different in this courtroom in Wilmington, Delaware, even though you couldn't have picked a more friendly city to have a Biden trial in. We had a judge who was not coordinating with the prosecution, was fair, and allowed each side to present their evidence. Of course, Hunter's side didn't have much evidence. Some story about Mookie at 7-Eleven that a juror just said they did not find that to be a credible story. He was offered a very attractive plea deal. Nothing wrong with taking a plea deal. Whether you're guilty or innocent, nothing wrong with it. Each person has to make their own determination. It depends on the facts or the lack of facts. But why would you take a plea deal when your last name is Biden? So the proceedings that went on in Wilmington were vastly different than what happened in a courtroom in New York, which Alvin Bragg orchestrated. This was not a matter of a bookkeeping error by an accountant, a misdemeanor at best, putting something in the wrong column, thus being turned, even though the statute of limitations have run out and the feds didn't want to go with it, turning it into a New York state trial and inventing 34 felony fraud convictions. And there wasn't one person of integrity on that jury, in my personal opinion, that in this most crucial decision time of their life, the biggest opportunity they would ever get, there was not one person that said, this is nonsense, and I'm not going to go with it. We hoped at best for a hung jury in New York City. That's the level of animosity for Donald Trump. Yet when he goes out into the street in all the boroughs, he is beloved. And this really bothers them. And this really makes them think, gee, what are we going to do? What are we going to do here? Well, a good place to start is being able to call him a convicted felon. A convicted felon, when all it was is his accountant putting something in the wrong column. Back to Hunter Biden. So he was offered the plea deal. He didn't take it. The jurors, most of the time, had the First Lady of the United States sitting in the front row taking notes as she looked at them. This happened in jury selection, and they say this kind of thing never happens, but she was there for jury selection. During the trial, she had to go back and forth between there and France, where her husband was, with Macron and other world leaders. But back and forth. But when it came time for the verdict today, the judge did not give the First Lady the respect of having even an hour to get to the courtroom. The verdict was announced without her. Sometimes we see what payback is like in real time. There was no requirement for her to be there. There was no requirement. This was about Hunter Biden and a verdict from the jurors. So, what happens now? President Biden has said over and over, I'm not going to commute my son's sentence should he be found guilty. How can you not say that when you're going after your opponent, when forces sympathetic to you are orchestrating the takedown of Donald Trump, only to make him stronger, only to raise $200 million in an incredible short amount of time, only to highlight the love and the desire to see President Trump returned to the presidency, only to see the poll numbers for President Biden to go down, 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 as John Kennedy, the senator, would say, faster than a fat man on a seesaw. Now, as they've been talking about here on CNN, President Biden never said that he wouldn't commute the sentence, that he wouldn't commute the sentence. Maybe a very important technicality. Would it be reasonable if President Biden pardoned his son? Absolutely. Is there any recourse to that? No. The power of the pardon is absolute for the President of the United States. We're not worried, far more than half the country now, because there's so many Democrats coming on board that do not want any more another 4 years of Joe Biden as our president. There are so many people in the Latino community, the black community, that are coming on board and saying, no, we can't have 4 more years of the destruction that Joe Biden has caused in the last 3 years, from the border to the economy to making our soldiers look pathetic in Afghanistan, where they're anything but pathetic. They're our best. They're what America has to offer as our very best. And of course, $200 billion in the Ukraine, and all we got is a bombed out shell and the silly notion that you could win a war against Putin. Keep your enemies closer, is the old saying. Keep your friends close and your enemies closer, because it's really important that you know how to negotiate and maintain a relationship and not let them walk all over you at the same time. And President Trump did that so well. No wars, great economy. A little thing called COVID happened, which kind of put some fly in the ointment. But we came through it all. But now democracy is on the line. The people who say they are fighting to keep democracy are the ones trying to destroy it. Destroy it. You only have to listen to the logic of someone like AOC to know that if we listen to that kind of thing, America has no hope. Has no hope. So we're going to have to see what's going to happen now. I'm not worried about Hunter Biden ever doing time. I don't want to see President Biden ever go to jail for what some say is influence peddling in 2 foreign countries, even when he was a senator. I'm not looking for retribution. I'm looking for America to stop its rapid decline and begin to soar. And we'll never do that with the progressive agenda. Really, what we're trying to do is stop the bleeding for a while, because it's all going to turn to dung at some point. The good book says that, and we're seeing it happen in our lifetime. So November 5th is very important. It's a very important time that everybody gets out and votes and makes their vote overwhelming for goodness and a return to sanity. That's this moment in time on Tuesday, the 11th of June 2024. Thank you for watching. There's so much more to come here at this channel, including on what is our viewers' favorite topic. There's so much more coming. So hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the notification bell. And I think you'll be quite pleased. I thank you for doing so. Bye-bye for now.